Hello, Lieutenant Jones here. Welcome to the gun shop. Today we're going to take apart and just clean this AR-15. This is my personal AR-15 that I carry at work. Let me explain this gun to you a little bit. This isn't the most expensive weapon you'll ever buy. It's not, doesn't have all the toys and bells and whistles that you might see on a lot of folks, especially officers, their guns. But you don't want a lot of bells and whistles on a patrol rifle. You want the essentials, and you want things that are going to make a difference in a firefight. I've been in a firefight, got a little bit of experience to talk about. So I'm going to take this apart. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this is a GPS bipod foregrip. Let me explain what this does. You can see it here, right here in front of the sling. You got a grip you can hold on to, but more important than that, you got a bipod. If you need to lay down cover fire, you push the button right here where your thumb's at, and a bipod comes down. When you finish with it, it goes right back up. This is probably one of the best things that has been added to some of the AR-15s in recent years. Before we just had the Tango down handle, which is good, but now we have the availability of a one button click, and we have a bipod to stabilize it, okay? And it enhances the stability of the firearm tremendously. Whether you need to put it across the hood of your patrol car, whether you're in a ditch, whether you're hiding behind a rock or a tree, it gives you some stability to go with. And when you don't need it, you put it back up and you still have your bipod. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this apart. Just take it off, set it aside. Next thing I have is a light. There's a lot of different ones. This is Safari Land Light. Right here where my thumb is at, I can turn it on or off. I know some of the guys have the pressure switches, and those are fine. I have seen them malfunction. I've seen them when you press it, it doesn't work. I want something that's high reliability, so when I do need it, it's on. It's easy to change the batteries out in this, the way it's mounted. It just slides on, comes on and off, okay? Not easily, you don't want it to be able to easily come off. Just pull it back, push it off, okay? Actually this one, I need to put a hammer on it and just tap it a little bit. But I don't need to do that today just to clean this gun up some. So I'm gonna leave it on. All right. Next thing is the sling. You want a good sling. This sling here is a good, strong sling. All right. It's also comfortable. If you have to sling it over your neck or shoulder for any length of time, you want to be able to have comfort with it. You don't want it cutting into you. All right. So we put this gun here on the holder. Undo this sling, just let it drop apart. We'll pop out the top pin, let it drop down, pull the bolt carrier group out. Let me show you the bolt carrier group now. I know there's a lot of information about bolt carrier groups and all, and I'm not going to go into the intricate details of it, but let me show you this. This is a ambidextrous type, okay? It's got good grips on it, all right? When you need to pull it back, you got good grips to pull with, okay? This particular one is a Radiant Raptor LT. Bolt carrier group. I'm going to take it apart in a little bit and make sure my gas rings are all lined up, clean it up some, all right? Just make sure it's good, well oiled up. This is the upper. We're going to clean this thing in a little bit, just make sure it's good and clean. Whether you've shot it or not, if it's been a month or two since you've cleaned it, dust can settle in it, especially if it's riding around in your patrol car. You don't want dust accumulating. You don't want things happening in that patrol car. You know how dirty some of those patrol cars get on the inside. Believe me, I've seen plenty of them in my 30 years. Take these things apart and clean them. Whether you shot them or not, they need to be cleaned. This is the lower. You need to push your pins back in. Okay. The reason is, these are the pins when you take it apart, push your pins back in. Don't leave your pins out. Okay. Push your pins back in. I like to do a little function test. One thing you don't want to do is have the hammer back. Pull your trigger and just let it slam against the front end. Don't let it do that. You can crack that thing and ruin a lower pretty easy when you do it. So I use my thumb, let it go forward slowly. All right. Check everything. Check your spring. Make sure your trigger's working good. Make sure it's clean in there. Not a lot of dust and dirt. Trust me, I've seen gunk and everything else up inside those triggers. You don't want that. Check, make sure your grip. All right. Make sure it's not loose. I've seen quite a few of them. Grab a hold of them, and they're loose. They're wiggly. You don't want that. Make sure they're tightened up good. Put the lower back on the stand. I'll put the upper back on with just the front. I'll show you how. Slide the pin forward. Don't ever let it just slam against stuff. You don't want to abuse it. While you've got it out, check your holographic sights. This one happens to have an EOTech on it. EOTechs they're good. I know there's been a few hiccups with them, and they've been a company that has stood by what they produce. They've got those things fixed. The ones we have now, these things are good quality, folks. And make sure your batteries are good. Make sure they function good. Make sure you can brighten them and dim them. All right. And if you had never looked at one of these holographic sights, let me see if I can hold it up here where you can see. I don't know if you can see in there or not. Okay. There you go. That's what you look through when you see an EOTech. All right. See that red dot in the middle? You got a circle around it with a red dot in the middle. If you have it sighted in properly, wherever that red dot's at, that's where your bullet's going to go, or pretty close to it at least, depending on your eyesight. But you need to have it sighted in for you, not for somebody else. Okay. I'm going to turn it off now. These things will go off automatically if you forget, which is a good thing. You don't want to have a red dot or any other sight that sucks your battery down. It won't go off automatically. Whatever you have on your rifle, make sure it times out, and it'll turn off automatically. All right. Let me get a rod here, and I'm going to put a rod down through the barrel. Just check to see how clean it is, and put a little bit of clean it on in that barrel. Make sure everything is cleaned out. Make sure nothing's falling down in there. I like using hops number 9. Hops number 9 is a good solution, folks. All right. It should just go smoothly. Run that thing back and forth a few times. Put a little more hops number 9 on it. Don't be stingy with your hops number 9. Let that stuff flow through. It's good. I've got some dripping out the other end. I like to see that stuff flow through good. If it's not falling out the other end, something's wrong. You hadn't put enough on it. Alright, let's put a little cloth on the end. I like to take this, make sure we have it good and tightened up. Just wrap this cloth around. There we go, just like that. All right. Then, and you guessed it, we're going to dip it in this hops number 9. Run that thing through there a little bit. It's going to be a little tighter. Until it comes off. That's good. When it comes to gun cleaning, don't ever be stingy with your supplies. With your little rag pieces, your hops number 9, don't be stingy with it. Guns like that stuff. They like to be clean, they like to be well oiled. They don't like a bunch of gunk on them. Set this aside. Get one more. Let's run through there without any hops number 9 on it. Just run a clean rag through it. All right. See how clean that is? All right. It's just hops number 9 on there. That's how you want your barrel. You want your barrel clean on the inside. If that thing comes out dirty, you know you still got some more cleaning to do. Let me take this brush off. Look at our bolt carrier group. I'm gonna get my rag. This bolt carrier group right here. Just sort of wipe it down a little bit, see if any dirt comes off on it. Shouldn't. This thing hasn't been shot since the last time it was cleaned. It's fixing to get shot though. I'm gonna be going out to the range here pretty soon. I've been shooting all the other guns and hadn't been shooting my main firearm. That this weapon right here is the only one I carry on duty. I've got several ARs set up for different things, target practice, different shooting, different ammo, different everything. But this one is the one I carry on duty. So what's that tell you? This AR right here is my workhorse. This is the one that you go to when your life depends on it. Okay? I'm gonna put some Lt.Jones 1 on here. I don't use the same loop for everything. I use M Pro 7 and Lt.Jones 1. It's primarily all I use. And this one I'm gonna use a little bit of Mt.Jones. I know some people say, oh, you can have too much oil. I want to tell you, I've yet to have a gun tell me that it had too much oil. Of course, I don't soak it in a bath with it. You know, don't be stupid, all right? But don't be scared to put a little oil on it either, all right? This thing is what cycles. This is where the work's taking place. usually enough left over on my hands to put on the charging handle. Got a couple little ears on this charging handle. If you're looking inside the chamber there, you've got right where those ears will go into. Right. We'll put the bolt carrier group right back in, just like it come out. And had a mosquito bite me. Guess that's because I got the door open. We're not going to shoot it today, but we'll be shooting it pretty soon. You'll be able to see this baby in action. This is a fine shooting machine right here. Pull this pin out, drop it back in. This particular one is a Bushmaster. Now, I know there's a lot of different manufacturers out there, and I'm not convinced any one of them is better than the others. I think all of them have made good ones, and they've made poor ones. There's some Bushmasters I wouldn't give you a plug nickel for, I suppose, but there's plenty of others that I wouldn't give you a plug nickel for them either. So I'm not going to endorse any particular brand. I like to take them apart and see what they've got in them and shoot them to see how well they shoot, and before I make a determination on whether they're any good or not. So put this GPS bipod handle back on. I'll do a function test on this firearm. For you law enforcement out there, I'm going to show you something. Alright. You come across an AR on the side of the road on a traffic stop. If you do a function test on it, pull the trigger, hear the click, hold the trigger down, charge it back up. Now you know to let go. Hear that click? All right. That means it's functioning properly. All right. You know what else that means? Hold the trigger down, rack it again, let off the trigger slowly, and hear that click. That also means that this is not a full auto weapon. Okay? That's right. It's either going to be malfunctioning, not functioning properly, or it's full auto. That's one way you can tell. Pull the trigger, hold it down, rack the chamber again, let off slowly, and hear the click. If it's full auto, you're not going to have that click. That's one way you're going to know. So, I highly recommend know your firearms. There are some folks out here running illegal full autos. They're taking these semi-autos and they're doing certain things to them, and they're making full autos out of them. As police officers, you need to know that when you come across it. Don't assume just because it looks like a semi-auto or it has a name it doesn't state it on the side anywhere, it doesn't have that third click on for safety or fire or full auto. Just because it doesn't have that doesn't mean it can't be. You need to know as a police officer. You need to know that. You need to know how to make that determination. All right. If it is, and you know it's not supposed to be, you better call ATF immediately. Okay? Because you got a criminal on your hands. I appreciate your time today. Hopefully it's beneficial to somebody. Hopefully you learned something from it. Thank you for your time. It's Lt.Jones at the gun shop, and we're going to be making some videos pretty soon, going out to the Rockwall Gun Club and showing some live shooting. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.